With a 15 billion rands cut in budget and a 20 billion rands required to be paid towards e-tolls, Gauteng provincial treasury is racing against time to prevent bankruptcy. The province's MEC of Finance and Economic Development, Lebogang Maile, joins me now to discuss the budget of the country's economic hub. MEC, a very good afternoon to you. Thanks very much for your time. I want to start with education, which has been in the news over the past few weeks, couple of months, on the back, of course, of the Western Cape and KwaZulu-Natal saying they are not going to have money to pay teacher salaries, and the possibility exists that thousands of them would have to be let go of. What is the situation in Gauteng?
Good afternoon. Thanks for having us. Let me start by assuring Gauteng citizens that we will not be bankrupt. I saw that story which was running on News 24, but we will not be bankrupt. However, our resources are constrained for the reasons you have just stated. That's the first thing. The second thing is that from where we are sitting as the Gauteng provincial government, we are not going to retrench any teachers. That's one. And two, we are not going to cut any essential services, as it was previously reported, especially scholar transport and school nutrition. I think the MEC of Education was misunderstood there. So we can confirm that we are doing everything in our power to ensure that the quality of education is not compromised and that the services that learners and educators have been receiving continue uninterrupted.
Is that because, unlike the other two provinces I have mentioned, you have sufficient funds, or is it because you are determined to find money from somewhere and make sure that no teacher gets retrenched and you are able to pay for scholar transport, nutrition, and the like? Which one is it?
Unfortunately, we don't have money because 35 billion rand of our budget has been committed, as you have stated. That's the first thing. But the second thing is we have made a commitment to increase our revenue drastically because we think we've got potential and the capacity. Because when you look at the sources of funding for the provincial government, there's three in the main. It's the equitable share, it's the conditional grants, and then own revenue. In terms of own revenue, we are making efforts to bolster our revenue and make sure that we collect more money. So that's one of the things that we are looking at. But the second thing is, of course, look at which other areas can we redirect resources without compromising service delivery.
Well, I mean, making a commitment to raise revenue is one thing, but actually getting that money is quite another, isn't it?
No, you are right. I think someday we will spend time with you just to take you in detail. But as things stand, for instance, we are owed about 10 billion by several people. And because, including the road accident fund, COIDA, and I can go into all those details, because there's not been efficient systems to follow up and collect that money. We have not collected it. So one of the things we are doing is to put those systems in place. We have started with that process. We will be collecting what is due to us. So there's money that it's what I'll call, for lack of a better word, statutory responsibilities of certain entities like the road accident fund. When people are involved in accident and they come to our hospitals, they're supposed to pay us. They don't pay us, but they pay private hospitals and all that. So I can go into detail. There is some money that we'll be able to raise. All we need is to put systems in place. And then there's revenue enhancement. And there are people who've got a lot of proposals and suggestions on how to work with us in enhancing our revenue. We are putting efforts as well there. But like you say, we are not only dependent on this. We are running a tight ship, and we also have some investments that we make from time to time, and so all those resources will be made available for public, for service delivery. So the public can rest assured that we are working very hard, and that Gauteng is well run. It's run properly, so we will not have a collapse in service delivery, because we are vigilant, we are alert, we are focusing on making sure that we don't run into serious problems.
You mentioned hospitals, and recently the Auditor General raised concerns, critical issues around health in the province, where over $1 billion remains unspent, hundreds of millions intended for specialized medical treatment. Just overall, your own appraisal of the state of finances with regard to health in the province.
Well, I think later on, Oli will be speaking to MEC for Health, and I think she should be able to deal in detail with those issues. That's one. But two, our health budget is under strain. It's like the education budget. Health nationally has got a problem. All the provinces are facing problems. So there's that issue of a budget that is under strain. And there's issue of in-migration that puts pressure on our health facilities, on our schools. So both the health and education budgets are under strain, and we are working with the Department of Health and the Department of Education to find a solution to some of the challenges.
But even more reason, you have to be vigilant, because you cannot have more than 2.7 billion in irregular expenditure, 17 million in wasteful spending, 2.7 billion in material losses, and the list goes on.
Yes, certainly. That's why we are working with the departments, and you would also have to appreciate that despite these challenges, all our departments in Gauteng, including the Department of Health, received an unqualified audit outcomes, and there are areas of improvement, and we will consolidate on those. And where there's weaknesses, we will be the first to admit and attend to those weaknesses. We are not going to defend anything.
Yes, 7 got a clean bill of health, but another 7 have problems. They remain stagnant at best.
They have unqualified, so they don't have problems. Unqualified, it's a good audit outcome. It might not be clean, but it's unqualified. So we don't have a department that is qualified in Gauteng, and that's what is important, meaning that the Auditor General says, generally we run our affairs okay. There might be issues, and that's why the AG will express an opinion where there are issues, but we are unqualified, all our departments. And of course, we want to move towards clean for all the departments, and we are working very hard. We are on course. We've got the right skills. We've got the knowledge that we've accumulated over many years, and our treasury is one of the well-performing treasuries, and we are confident that we'll be able to do well.
You can't say the same about the provinces, municipalities. By your own admission, they violate laws. They don't do things according to the book. Irregular, wasteful, unauthorized expenditure, and all those things should be cause for concern.
That's why we are working with them closely. We will be working with COGTA, working with the AG, and we are putting pressure so that things must change. we can't continue having municipalities that are not properly run. Municipalities that can't afford to pay for their to pay their creditors. It's not right. Municipalities that can't deliver services. So we will play our oversight role as a provincial government, and we will also emphasize constantly that municipalities must be run by councillors, not by provincial government, because the law is clear that the legislative and executive authority of a municipality rests with the council, not with the provincial or national government. So we are only going to provide them with the support when they need it, and we will, of course, hold them accountable.
The e-toll debt, how are you dealing with that?
On Monday, we are paying the first installment, which it's about 3 billion plus. We will give the details. We are paying on Monday. And next year, and this is where those who are saying we might be bankrupt, or this is where the story comes in. Next year, June, we're paying the second installment, which will be about 6 billion and all that. So like I said, we are looking at our resources, and there are areas where we are cutting a bit and just reprioritizing, but we're also looking at our own savings and all that so that we can meet all our demands. But from where we are sitting, we are able to meet all our demands as a provincial government. The e-toll debt is one of those.
And your ability to pay the e-toll debt doesn't or is not going to compromise other areas?
No, you don't. You don't. Of course, resources are never enough. So even if there was no e-toll debt, we'll still need more resources. So resources are never enough, and that's why we should never stop looking at ways of increasing them. But we can assure you that it's not going to affect service delivery. Kids will still go to school. They will still get transport. They will get their food at schools. Our patients will be admitted in hospitals. There will be doctors who will look after them. And those who need to be fed will be fed. Our roads, which belong to the province, will be repaired, and all the things that we're supposed to do will be done.
MEC Maile, let me thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.